Hi everybody, Mrs. Mozingo here to talk a little bit about mark making techniques and practice, leading into, honestly, a great range of different projects. But for our purpose, we're putting our name, class. We've got a few different mark making techniques. Some of these have been introduced already. Some of these are brand new. So really the goal, so whatever's in this square, we'll start to put down in this square too. Now I am using an ebony pencil. We know that those are the best, just nice, deep graphite for drawing. I'm going to start with the hatch technique. So I'm going to start to do it in a variety of directions. Go ahead and do this one. Hatch. Next one, cross hatch. It's like a skinny little tic-tac-toe board. Cross hatching. You often see hatching and cross hatching close to each other. Next one is dots. If we were using oil pastels, this would be called stippling. Okay, so it's just a nice, gentle, okay, not a ding, 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 right? Because we know that that will affect the lead that's inside of these graphite pencils. So, and if you want to put them a little bit closer together, you'll notice you'll get a little bit more effects of texture. Okay, next one, organic. So this would be the time that we talk about organic, things that are irregular and they come from nature. So curving kinds of lines versus geometric. I like this one. It's like a clear pattern, but then you can make your own variations. But again, geometric, more of a human-made kind of environment, a little bit more harsh and angular. Okay, dots and dashes. So we finished the first row. Check, check. Let's go down to the second row and we'll start to put them right here. So the first one, dots and dashes. I'll tell you what, I am digging this one big time. Okay, I've been playing with this one for a little while. And I'm just noticing, look at it, you could even have them together if you wanted to. But it creates, again, a very kind of an irregular pattern. Love that one. Thick. Thick ones, I'm just starting to make kind of thicker on one end. So go ahead and try that one. And again, it could be kind of irregular. Okay, thinner lines. Again, I think these are supposed to be, whereas these are way more systematic in how they go together, same spacing. These are, you know, a little bit more irregular. Okay, I like that one. Spiral. Now spiral is a little bit like scumbling. So I'm just, you could take the approach, be a little bit more, do layers of them this way. They could be a little bit more irregular. Okay, I feel like some of these in here would be perfect for nature-made patterns on bark, foreground, objects, things like that. Okay, the next one, scribble. Now, looking at this actual sheet here, if you look really closely, see like this, really closely, you'll notice it's not so disordered. So it's a little bit of this, a little bit of this. I like that one. Okay, so that is the scribble one. So we've got our second row done. Here's the last row, jagged. I love how you could play with like different sizes of these. Okay, jagged. All right, continuous. I'm going to tell you what. I have started seeing students are using this one a lot. They're also using the dots and the dashes and the scribble in a way I've never seen in past years. So let's try that one. Continuous. This would be really great for water. It could be really great for any sort of a smooth, long angled kind of a surface. Okay, loose. I think I'm just kind of keeping my pencil up on the paper. Seriously, I feel like this whole thing is an ASMR video. All right, that one, that just feels cool. I'm not gonna lie. So this one seems a little bit more kind of flowy. I did more in like kind of floating over the top of the paper. Okay, next one. Let's keep going. Wavy. Oh, look at my spacing. What in the... I like that. I'm gonna try other directions. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, random. I think it's like this, but I'm gonna try to keep my pencil on the page a little bit more. Not gonna lie, I would use that for trees, right? If you get a good kind of a trunk, branches going out, you can combine some of these to create the foliage of trees. All right, so students will be working on the mark making techniques and practice first, and then flip it over. On this particular side, here's what I want it to look like. Choose one of the mark making techniques that you did earlier. This is my other sheet. So choose one of those. I'm gonna do dots and dashes. Here we go, dots and dashes like this. And the beautiful part about that is that I'm gonna go ahead and start to put them together. Put some of the dots in between. Okay, just like that. So light. Here we go, medium. So I want you to kind of squint in between to see what you might, because the goal is that this is the lightest, this one's slightly darker, and then the last one, here we go, much darker. So as we transition into our large scale landscape project, and again, do these need to be perfect? No. Oh, I think I need to get a little bit. These need a little bit more value to them. Okay, that's great. Okay, I could probably work on this like 5 more hours. Okay, but I'm gonna let it go. Let it go, let it go. All right, the next one I'm gonna be doing here is this value scale. This is basically white, that's the free pass. This on the very back side here, on the far right, is going to be pure dark. So I want you to heavy pressure. Do not care if you go outside of the lines. This looks really cool with the texture of the table in my studio here. Okay, I almost feel like I'm gonna go through the paper. Okay, so all the way through, that should be nice, shiny, kind of graphite. It should be glistening at this point. Okay, so the next 3, you're just gonna try to figure out what is the correct amount of value on these. If you wanna start to also blend, okay, that's one of our favorite parts to do this. Okay, get a medium kind of a value. Okay, even a little bit darker here. And then this last one, I'm gonna try to find the value that's just in between these two. Now, this is what you'll find sometimes. You might need to go kind of back and forth for a little while to figure out. There we go, we're getting there. Okay, and I'm squinting. I see a difference between these two, between these two, and I might need to make this one a little bit darker. Okay, you get the idea. So value range, and then a value range with one of the mark making techniques. Now, here's the next step. I want students, you can tell I'm kind of scaffolding what we're doing. What I wanted to do is have students create a small kind of little landscape just to get them kind of loosened up a little bit. We know how stressy folks can get. So let's take just a step back just for a second here. Okay, we started to talk about how horizon lines divide space. Water always lies flat like that. Then I'm gonna put some other kind of vegetation back there. Okay, and then I'll kind of bookmark it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna use those same mark making techniques. Here we go, and I'm gonna start to incorporate some of these. So I'll have this right here. So right away, I see an opportunity. And now, as soon as I've got that, I'm gonna go ahead and start to blend that pencil. Okay, if you need more of an opportunity, go back in there. A little bit more. Okay, there we go. It's looking so good. Okay, next step. I'm going to use one of those other kinds of texturing techniques. And if you want to, This is the beautiful. I'm teaching you these techniques so that you can start to combine some of them and then ultimately transform it into your own personal style. Okay. Do I want you to draw like me? No, absolutely not. Do I want you to maybe try to copy me a little bit and then do your own thing? If you want to, that's fine, but you don't have to. Showing you these, we just want to practice them. Okay, there's hatching. And we know that it's darker typically in the foreground. As it goes to the horizon line, things get lighter. So I might do some of that irregular texturing, but I want this to look different than this part right here. Now, I could keep going on this one. This was my demo in class. Yeah, pretty good. It's a little bit too busy with this. But let me show you what my students did because they're phenomenal. So here's one. This is a fantastic. Look at that. The dots and the lines, love it. And you can see a couple different texturing techniques, and they're playing with this idea of lights and darks. This one, even more, like really great mark making. This person is really getting into smudging and even erasing different parts. Okay, whoa, look at that. This is a kid's personal style. Fantastic. And I love the texturing here and here. She toned, so she just rubbed that graphite across the whole surface, toned it, and then started to erase different parts. Gorge. And then this happened. Again, this kid is kind of copying his style, but look at this. They're starting to create their own personal style in this one. So fantastic job to all the kiddos. Have a good time mark making and get those pencils moving. See you soon.